What if you're not special?
Today on Honestly, Dear Listener, we're talking about the freedom that comes from not needing to be everyone's favorite and most perfect person.
I'm Emily Hatch.
And I'm Carrie Schaefer, and this is Honestly, Dear Listener.
Honestly, dear listener.
Woo! I'm here with my side-swept elder millennial bangs.
I feel triggered by that
Tell me about it.
because when my bangs are a little too long, I just immediately do that. So,
Yeah.
even right now, by the end of the day, they will be sideswept. And anything with the word elder in it feels kind of shitty right now. I'm not going to lie.
Sorry, I take it back. But I do. Apparently, all the kids are saying you look like such an old person with a side part. And I say, get behind me.
Get thee behind
Get
me,
thee
Gen
behind
Z.
me, Gen Z. Yeah. Stop making me feel so bad, whole generation of zygotes.
Honestly, I feel like Gen Z is like one of the most accepting, kind generations that are like,
It's probably true.
please, like, we don't want you to feel like we don't accept you. We're not ageist. And we're like, screw you, Gen Z. I keep my side part. Like,
Yep.
okay.
And
cool.
my tight
Skinny jeans. If I'm gonna like let go of the skinny jeans, I just want to go like full Jinko jeans and just like, do you guys remember those?
Sure do.
Just like I had one pair and they were like enormous at the bottom. I don't know why I was a skater 10% of my life. I don't know. It was just, that was middle school for me. I was like, and now this.
Yes. No, totally. I was a skater for like a year. And when I say skater, I mean in like hefty air quotes, because I had a pair of Jinkos given to me by a friend. And I definitely went out into the garage and got one of those chains that you like lash crap to a trailer with. And it was not the right kind of chain. And I like attached it to one of my parents' old nylon wallets that I like put like 2 quarters in and then put it in the back pocket and let it hang, the chain.
That's amazing. See, so my skater life was also like hand-me-downs for the most part because we were very poor and didn't get new things. I didn't have new clothes until that someone didn't make for me until I was 13. That was the first time we got like a couple new things. Anyway, but my actual skater life, one time,
that could be a TV show.
My actual skater life, it's a very short show. If it's about me, because if we were in front of the church and our old church had it was like 4 stories high, and I'll never forget, I stepped onto my friend's skateboard. I think I was 13, and it immediately shot out from under me and hit the window.
Oh no.
It did not break it, but
that's good.
I landed on my ass really hard
in front of people.
And yes, and that was the end of my skater life.
But I feel like back in the 90s, and maybe you can do this today too, I don't know, but back in the 90s, you could totally have a skater vibe going on without actually skating.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we did it.
Yeah. With the trailer chain hanging out of our pants.
She was a skater girl, had her chain in a twirl. I don't know. We could write this.
Yes. Let's talk about things.
What's happening in your life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have pink eye for the 3rd time this year. This time it's viral though, so they don't have any medicine for that. So that's cool.
I have a show. I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, but I have a show for it's at 54 Below. We did talk about this last week, I think. And you're coming to the show, Carrie.
Sure am.
I'm so happy. It's this Saturday, and I had a rehearsal yesterday for it, and it went really well. It was just insane because there are 2 parts to this story. One, the very cool thing, which is it was a block away from Broadway, like on 48, like between 48th and 49th, which some people don't know. 42nd Street is like that's a real thing, like the show and the song that's like 42nd Street and
42nd Street.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's like Broadway in 40 seconds, the big thing. So anyway, um, when I went to rehearsal, it was between 48th and 49th, one block over from Broadway, half a block from Hadestown, and another show over there. So like that was freaking crazy. So I showed up and I had never met these lovely people, and I am suffering, you guys, from some really intense anxiety, uh, which is not surprising. If you guys listen to the show, you know that I am quite the anxious lady, but it's been like translating into my body a lot more. And so I don't like not knowing what's going to happen when I show up somewhere. Am I going to feel like I'm going to pass out? Am I going to feel like I'm like, not to be insensitive, literally, like, am I going to have a stroke or something? Because I'm like, I don't know if I can speak. I'm so nervous. This is not
Mm.
so. I've always been a nervous performer, but people can't tell, and I usually can like get over it. So I showed up to this and I got the like fuzzies when I walked in and was like, "Oh god." And this isn't even the show, okay? I meet the producer and she's like, "Are you a hugger?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "As long as it's cool that I'm shaking really bad." It went super well.
Excellent.
Like despite the fact that my ankles were like and my hands and everything, my body was okay. And because I've practiced the shit out of this, my body knew how to still sing that song. And I'm singing The Greatest Love of All by Whitney Houston, which is like a hard song to sing.
Mhm.
The producer and the music director were like, oh, because they had never heard me sing before. And they were like, that was really great. And you do not need to be nervous. And they said all the things that I say to students that are nervous. And I'm
Mhm.
like, thank you guys so much. Also, like, this is not rational. So that's cool. I wanted to talk about that for a second just because I think it feels lonely, like we've talked about being a creative that is like you show people something that you've been working hard on, but there's all this back story and like behind the scenes stuff that you don't know people are dealing with.
Yep.
And so it's like, oh yay, Emily's like I'm performing with people who originated Broadway roles like Bright Star and like on the first Broadway tour of Dear Evan Hansen and whatever, like, and then me. And this is a big deal, you know. You see like things happening, but there's shit going on back here that's like, I hope I don't pee my pants. I was joking with my brother that I'm gonna wear a really cute dress that our friend Charlotte made for me, and I'll just like if I pee, I'll be really well hydrated, so no one will probably even see it run down my leg, you know? So like you just
Nice.
gotta that's another reason to stay hydrated so that no
So you
one
don't
can
see
see the
the
pee.
the yellow color, you just
Yeah.
see clear?
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
I
Like that's
see.
probably sweat. Just kidding.
Lower body sweat.
Yeah, I'm just
Nothing to
sweating a
see here.
lot.
Oh,
Anyway, but
man.
I'm very excited and I feel really lucky, and I'm practicing what I preach, and that is like
Yes.
continuing to do things even though you're very scared about it. Um
Yes.
so yeah, I mean the dream would be that I get to do a lot more of this. So we'll see what happens. So today,
Mhm.
as a segue,
Nice.
this might be just a great time to talk about the fact that I am not special. Um, I think I don't know. I don't know what angle you want to take with this, but we're going to talk about the fact that we're not special. And last week, Carrie was like, "You want to talk about this?" And I was like, "No, I need to not deal with that today."
Mm. That's fair. Yeah.
So,
Well, and here's the deal. I think that you could take this in a really unhealthy direction.
mhm,
Like instead of s- being like, yeah, I'm not special, therefore I'm no better than everyone else and I'm also no worse than everybody else. you could use it as like self-flagellation of like, yeah, I'm not special, I'm not worthy, I'm not like this has nothing to do with worth. But yeah, I was driving down the road like a month ago and I just had this. I was thinking about my book. I was thinking about, what if I write something that's crappy and day to day? And then I was thinking about how my whole life, somewhere in the back of my mind, and I don't know where this came from, uh, I had this thought. I've always thought like, oh, I'm special. I'm I'm different. I'm unique. I'm all these things that kind of set me apart from the rabble of
Mm-hmm.
other people around me, and that somehow makes me exceptional. And then I thought, my gosh, like the pressure that that puts on a person's brain to have to be whatever they do, whatever they create has to be a reflection of their ultimate specialness. And if it doesn't,
Mm.
whoa, and I'm not special all of a sudden, how my weird self-concept comes crashing down. And so it makes it to where I just don't make anything because I don't want my
Mm-hmm.
specialness to be proven incorrect. So I just was like, what if I'm not special? What if I'm just kind of like everyone else? Like,
Mm.
what does that do? And there's a huge part of me that's resistant to that. But then I think, but maybe that's an expansive place. Maybe that's a free place that allows me to create from. And then I told you about
Mm-hmm.
it and then we were both like, maybe that's a really crappy idea.
It's not. I think it is an important point because so you guys are, I'm imagining we're all from similar places that are listening to this podcast that, you know, were told maybe at a young age that you were talented or that your art had meaning or that you were the whatever of the family, or maybe you were raised in a religious place so like everyone thinks that they're like supposed to save everyone, stuff like
Mm.
that. And so like there is so much pressure on being the best one because
Mhm.
you're the special one and you're the one who has to change something that, yeah, it's like it's crippling a
Yeah.
lot of the time. Instead of like, oh, I have to make this thing and if it's not perfect then like I can't let go of it, so I just never do anything with it, you know.
Mhm.
I went to this jam this last weekend and I had met someone at the wedding gig that I did the weekend before. And she's like, oh, I'm hosting this jam in Brooklyn. You should come. And I was like, okay, I'm not really a jammer, you guys. I'm special. I rehearse. I
Ah.
do not even karaoke is like, "Oh, I didn't rehearse this. Um, so I show up and I'm like, this is going to be cool. And I'm like, oh, I could play these chords. I've never played keys at a jam before. So I like got up and I kind of fucked it up a little bit, but it was fine. And as I left the stage, she's like, why don't you stay and sing? And
Oh,
I don't
okay.
do that. We're not talking like scat singing with no words cuz I
Mhm.
can do that. Like improvising, making a song your own. No, this is a non-existent song and you're supposed to make something up.
Okay, Emily, that's scary.
I failed
Tell me about it.
for 6 minutes. I was like, I met Olivia at in a wedding band.
Wait, you said
And
this or you sang this?
oh, I said it and I was like, and we do stuff like, and then I just improvised with the chords like, I want to dance with somebody. And then I was like, and like, do you remember? And I did it like in a really creative way.
Uh-huh.
Now, this was like a movie to me. It's a basement in Brooklyn with wall to wall people staring at you, ready for you to crush it. And I didn't. I mean, it was fine. I was like, and then she takes the mic back. She's like, just say anything that's on your mind. Like, what do you want to say? I revert back to like some banter that I had once. I bombed that thing. I mean, it was fine. I can sing, but I had nothing to say.
Huh.
I could not think of a damn thing I in my head that I thought or cared about to talk about at all. And I was like, okay, goodbye, and went and sat down. And then proceeded to watch these like fucking prophets just entirely roll out the most meaningful things you've ever heard in your life. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, so I cried when I got home, but I was like, at the same time, that was the best thing ever. Like, I'm not special. I'm not good at everything. But I tried something and it made me like, this makes me realize that I really need to like dive more into who am I? What do I really want to say when no one's telling me how to say something or what to say? I was like,
Oh.
what if I just go fall on my face a lot more times? But dude, that like, for this special girl who knows all the words to all the songs and all the parts and has your stuff figured out and she can teach you how to do things, to go up there and be like, I have no personality and I can't think of anything I care about at all. I'm a mom. Isn't that cool? Like, that's almost literally what happened.
I think that's fascinating. I mean, yeah, what a reminder. So how did you deal with this realization that you're not special? I can't even say it. I'm not going to tell you that. I can only tell me that.
Right. I mean, I was really weirded out. Like, I'm not good at everything. And usually what that does is I'm like a child who's like, if I don't win, then I don't want to play.
Yep, 100%.
And that's what you're saying. Like, that takes you out of the game. Like, okay, I'm going to write a song, but it's not going to be the best song. So I shouldn't even play.
Yeah.
If I'm not going to be the best guitar player, I shouldn't even try. Like, if I can't show up and be the prettiest one, then I'm just going to stay in a potato sack on my couch and be sad.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so anyway, I had to share that because that was like I'm doing scary things, and that was like I'm not the best one, and that's going to happen over and over and over and over. I am not special.
Don't you think it's kind of unfair that like you can feel like you are in your realm, like singing is in your realm, but that there are parts of singing that you are uncomfortable with? Like, to me, and this is where my all or nothing thinking comes in and bites me in the butt, is like, okay, if I'm a good writer or whatever, I should be able to write anything at any time for any purpose for whatever. And that's just not true. That like maybe it's in my wheelhouse, but like it's a tiny part of what the bigger picture is. And that bothers me.
This is how gifted and talented kids are, like, so great in school, and then you're like, what happened to you? And you're like, I'm a drug addict now because like I couldn't, like, it's like the peaked in high school thing in a way. Like, we get all the parts and then we go into the real world and realize like, oh no. But isn't it kind of freeing in some ways to just be like, I'm just going to take my colors and just shit them all over the wall and see what happens.
Yeah.
Like, because people are just going to walk by and be like, that's weird, or that's cool, I like that. And you're like, I did that. That's weird. Moving on. Like, tell me a time in your life where you realized you weren't special and what happened?
Oh man. I have been historically one of those people that very religiously stick to the things that I am good at. And like, for instance, singing was very much in my wheelhouse. However, in order to be in, uh, to go to all state choir in high school, you had to do a whole bunch of like theory and sight singing and all. And that
Mm-hmm.
stuff, I just was like, that's just not, I'm just not good at it. So my junior year of high school, I didn't even try out.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no, I'm not doing this. And I make myself not even want to.
Yeah. It's stupid.
It is so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So that like my senior year, my teacher had to be like, you are auditioning for this. You don't have a choice. And I wasn't going to sing for graduation because I was like, no, I don't even want to. And then a freaking freshman who played the piano was like, hey, you're singing at graduation. You're singing this song and I'm going to play for you. And I was like, oh, I guess so. But it was all fear. It's all fear of not doing a good job. It's all fear that like, oh, if I can't be the girl,
Mm-hmm.
that goes in and sweeps the parts and just like blows people away and is the star, then I'm like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. So this writing thing is really scary for me because I might not make something that's good,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like I've had little successes with it here and there, but like nothing like I have in singing or theater. And
Mm-hmm.
so, yeah, so I'm trying to think of a time where I did something and I wasn't good at it. And I pretty much avoided those things. One time I tried out for basketball, and you know that story where the
Mm-hmm.
best girl on the team was like, you're fat and you'll never be good at this. And I was like, well, I might as well go home then. And I never
Mm-hmm.
went back. So I just don't try. I make myself not want to do it.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm having some realizations. I don't
Ooh, what are
know.
they?
I've done that with theater for sure.
Hmm.
And I think it protects us. That's a lot
Totally.
of what it is. Like, I need to be the most special because my parents raised me, those assholes. They really raised
Love you
me
guys.
to think I was special.
Right?
Like, who does that? That's the weird thing. You're so screwed. Just a side note as a parent, because if you raise your kids and you don't instill in them some sort of sense of being like special, then you're a total like abusive asshole. But if you're like, yeah, I
Yeah. How do you do
you
that?
can't win. You can't win.
How do you strike that balance? I don't know.
Yeah. I think it comes down to like it's like do as I do, not
Yep.
as I say. But anyway, so if you don't treat yourself well, your kids are not going to treat themselves well. Oopsie doopsie. Anyway, but yes, like my parents raised me with that belief that I was
Mm.
special. And then I was in a theater scene that was really pathetic, to be honest. There were some good things that happened and good people I met, but I was told by a lot of folks some really mean things. And so I thought, well, if I'm not the most beautiful and I'm fatter than everyone else and all these things are true, then I don't want to do theater anymore because theater's stupid.
Mm.
And I proceeded to not do theater for 10 years.
Hmm.
I did other stuff that I was like, no one can tell me if I'm good or not. I'm special because I made my own thing. Um,
Mm.
and then I did one show and I haven't done one since. And that was in 2018, I think. Yeah.
Mm.
So it's interesting. I don't know. But how do we use that
Hmm.
realization to become more open? Now, it doesn't mean you have to like run after every single thing and, be like, I have to try it. But like, wouldn't it be cool to have some kind of childlike,
Mm.
because we weren't thinking about being the best one that often when we were really little. I mean, I guess I was. Never mind.
I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think yeah. I think that there's, at least for me, there was an inner motivation to constantly prove my worth. And so, isn't it smart? If your worth is on the table, isn't it smart to only stick to the things that you're good at? I mean, this is just dawning on me right now. Like, and I've been down on myself, like, oh, I can't believe the do. But like survival wise, it was smart. Now,
Mm.
newsflash that I've learned since I'm older, my worth is not on the table with what I do.
Mm.
Um, and so when it's not on the table, then I'm free to make bad art. I can,
Mm-hmm.
because it's just practicing instead of every single thing you do is weighted so heavily on your identity.
I like it. You know, they say like people aren't thinking about you as much as you are.
Totally.
Um, because you're not special to other people. I think I have this thing of like, well, if I make this and it's bad, people are gonna think that I'm bad. And
Right.
it's like, so what? First of all, no one's probably even gonna give a shit. And at least you're doing something. Wouldn't life be more fun if you could just like play and discover things? Isn't that what you're supposed to do probably in this life? Like
Yeah.
caring about and nurturing other people and just like finding things and enjoying them?
Mm-hmm.
Like instead of being like, okay, I mean how many of us realistically, cuz if we're talking to you, please tell us, do we use the fart this time?
Emoji this week?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you relate to this, put your fart emoji on this. If you on this on our last Instagram post, like we talked about last week. So put a fart, and maybe it could be coming out of somebody's head. Like if you appreciate a good brain fart, I don't know. If everything you try to do that you kind of feel like you're a little bit good at, you try to make like a professional idea that you could do. Like
Mm.
so tell me if you relate to this at all in our comments on Instagram, like make some sort of fart reference with your emojis. I do this thing where I'm like, okay, I talked about this thing once and I feel like it's a really good idea. And I could work really hard at this and be the best at it. So now since I was a child, I've started companies uh selling things like rocks or whatever. Like I've been an entrepreneur since I was a kid, but I also think it's the special thing. So if I even am good at like, oh, I can play basketball. I should be in the NBA. Like, I could dedicate myself to this thing. As
Mm-hmm.
soon as I discover I'm like a little bit good at cooking, I should have a food cart. Like, do you
Yeah.
relate to that?
Yeah. I definitely made one leather bag one time, and I was like, Seth, so if we like blow this thing up and if we like get so many bags and all these like mountain town shops and boutiques, then, and he was like, whoa, lady. If you want to do this, I'm with you 110%, but like, whoa. And yeah, I'm just talking.
Do you think that that is a symptom? It's okay if you don't think that, but a symptom of the special thing. It's like I figured out something I'm good at, and now I'm going to dedicate my life to being the best one with the
Mm-hmm.
best bag. Like,
Do
do you
you
think that's
ever
similar?
think that and then you get into the work and you're like, I don't want to do this at all.
That
This is too hard.
that is my life. I think I'm having my midlife crisis
Mm.
because I'm like, yes, I do feel passionately about this. And then I'm like, I'm going to start doing it. And I'm motivated. So I do it. And then I'm like, I
Yep.
don't like that.
Yeah.
Yep. Or
Even
I didn't
this,
get enough attention for it.
right. Not enough emojis, not enough comments, not enough likes.
Do we notice that our brain is starting to drive us toward, if I'm not the best then, to try to notice why do I feel that way? Do I want to try? And how do I steer myself into a place with this specialness idea that would actually allow me to enjoy my life? Like, how do we do that? Do we
Well,
notice first? That's
I
probably the first,
I
right?
do think that noticing is and judgmental noticing, like, not like, "Oh my gosh, you're doing that stupid thing again that you always do. You're not special. You're an idiot." Like, not that energy.
Okay, never
Instead
mind.
yeah. Instead, the energy that's, like, kind of, like, maybe more detached, scientific, like, "Oh, that's interesting. I wonder why I'm feeling like I need to do that or act in those ways or believe that about myself. Huh.
Mm,
Um and then maybe like giving us like reinforcing the thought to ourselves like you don't I release you from the pressure of having to be special about this.
mm,
You don't need to. In fact, you can just be a kid and play with it.
mm,
And you don't even have to make a company about it. It doesn't even
mm.
have to be commercially successful. In fact, it doesn't have to be successful at all.
You could just try a thing.
Yeah. Just do a thing for the joy and then just keep practicing that thing.
Unless you don't want to, and you don't even have to.
Totally.
You can go to one jam and fuck it up and never go back if you
Are you never going
want.
to go back?
No, I'm gonna go back.
Okay, good.
I don't know if I'll sing, but no, I'm just kidding. I was like, this just brings up a lot. I learned a lot. And
Mhm.
even if I never go back, I mean, I think I will, but even if I don't, I tried something different and I liked it.
I love that
Yeah.
so much. I keep having this thought when because you posted a thing earlier this week that was like something along the lines of we just see such a little part of success when really you don't see all the work behind it
Mm-hmm.
was kind of
Mm-hmm.
the sentiment. And I keep thinking about that every single time I wake up and I want to do something else instead of write. And I've set
Mm-hmm.
myself like a very, very reasonable word count per day, which is 500 words a day.
Nice.
And that's forward movement as far as I'm concerned. And so, but every day I have a choice. I can either do this
Mm.
thing or I don't do this thing. And I keep thinking about how what we make is just a series of decisions, a decision to keep
Mm.
choosing to make that thing and keep returning to that thing. And um, that I don't have to be good at writing. I don't really.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to be good at it.
Mm-mm.
All that I want to do is keep showing up and
Mm.
doing it.
I love that. The thing that you were talking about, it's from an Instagram influencer person that I follow, and it says the work everyone sees is the result of the work no one sees.
Yep. Put so much better than how I just did.
No, I like it. It was a good summary. I follow because I know her in real life. This great voice teacher named Dr. Marissa Lee Naismith, and she has a podcast also called A Voice and Beyond. And she said a few days ago something that resonated with me and is on this topic, which is people think you have to be naturally talented to be a singer, and they wonder if you can learn to sing if you're not naturally good at it. And here's like a harsh truth. Those of us who are naturally talented have a much harder time being successful because, like,
Oh.
she didn't say it exactly like that, but I'm saying it
Uh-huh.
because the people who really want to do something will do it and will work really hard at it. And they might not be as naturally gifted, or as good, but they're going to actually work hard to do it, because the people who are naturally talented and things that naturally come to us, and I'm including myself because, and I'm not trying to say it's shamey, it's just real. We're used to not having to try.
Yep.
And so it is hard to come up to something like that and be like, I don't want to try, because then that feels scary. I've never had to try. You know, and I was just like, oh God, like you could work at something. So you saying I might not be good at writing reminded me of that, because it's like, that's great. Maybe you're not. Like, that's exciting. That means you could probably like totally get better and like enjoy the work and like participate in that work, because maybe if you were naturally gifted by this point, you might not even want to do it anymore.
Totally. Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
It's a
I
weird
like that.
perspective,
Maybe
but
the gift of mediocrity, but like with work ethic.
mediocrity with purpose and passion.
Yeah. Yes, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Huh.
Kind of cool.
That is kind of cool. So, yes. So once again, I just want to reiterate, I hope no one is coming away from today's episode depressed or like they're a pile of trash because they're not special. We love Mr. Rogers. Thank you, Mr. Rogers, for telling us that we're special. Thank you, parents. This is not a complete departure from that. It's just a different perspective. And if it's helpful, use it. If it's not, leave it. Hey, what we say isn't the Bible truth.
We're
Whatever that
just
is.
two ladies talking about stuff.
We're trying to figure out our own stuff. And we're still, we're 40 almost. And we're like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like we're getting closer.
Mm-hmm. And documenting different types of things to try. I feel really good about this, to be honest. I think shining some light on a dark space that is like, yeah, what if you get to, I don't know if you guys are in this age group with us and stuff. It's like, what you're starting to think about stuff like, what if I get to the end of my life and I never was that important? And it's like, you are important as an existing human being who wants to do things and is trying to make things. You are important. That is enough. And if you take the pressure off of having to be the most beautiful, famous, talented, rich one, then you might actually enjoy your life more. Yeah. I feel encouraged by that, because we won't get big time into this, but recently I've been like, oh, I've been telling myself I can't be a singer really for like a long time. And I can't do it because it's not the right time, and I have to do this, and I have to be this certain way, and I have to make this much money because I am raising a person. Now I'm in a place where I could just sing, but I'm not the prettiest one. I'm in a big freaking city, man. I'm not the prettiest one. I'm not the thinnest one. If that's like triggering, I know, but this is what happens when you've been in entertainment for too long. I'm not the youngest. I'm not the best, but I want to sing. And so I'm just going to have to show up.
Yep.
And it's okay to not be all those things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So when you go do your gig on Saturday, what are some of the things you're going to be telling yourself as you pull up to that gig?
Kegel, just kidding.
Oh.
Don't pee. Just kidding. When I was sitting, it didn't work, but when I was sitting in the waiting area before I went into the room and was listening to the lovely person in front of me, I was listening to the song Nobody's Baby by Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings. And it's like, I ain't nobody's baby. I ain't nobody's fool. It's just this very like, I can do it and I'm fine. I listen to it when I'm scared on the plane and I'm like, I'm not a baby. I can do anything. I was trying to like encourage stage me to come back out because she's in her dressing room with the door locked. And so I was like, yeah, I'm good. I belong here. And I walked in and just like immediately was like, hello. But I think that attitude is going to help. I also need to stop um, bracing for being nervous. I think
Mm,
I'm trying to over prepare for being scared instead of just being like, and if you're scared, it'll be okay. Stop thinking about it.
right.
I also don't have to be the best one.
Yeah.
Like, I could strive for a solid worst place, and I still did it
And you're still freaking singing at 54 below.
with these people.
Yeah.
I put a lot of pressure on everything,
Yeah.
but like, I don't have to be the best one.
Yeah.
I've worked like for a long ass time on my voice and my stage presence and making songs my own and being charming. If the bottom falls out of everything, I'm still going to be fine.
Yep.
And I don't have to be the best. A man I don't like very much said to me once, but it was very helpful. And I think I've said it before. You are a singer. You are not a brain surgeon. If you fuck up today, nobody's going to die over it. They will just remember you if you're really good and they'll forget you if you're fine. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, so forget me. That's fine.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to say I'm not special.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I heard somebody say, use all your bad art, and that's in air quotes. Use the things that you don't absolutely love that you make, use them as fertilizer.
mm,
But you have to have it to grow something. You know, like you have to make shitty things
yeah,
in order for good things to grow.
it's so
So
true.
celebrate the poop.
Celebrate your shit.
Yeah. I kind of wonder if whether something is good or not is any of our business.
Oh, wait. No, it's not.
You know?
It's
Like
not.
it kind of, as long as it have you done the work? Yes. Have you done a job that to the best of your ability? Yes. Great. That's what's your business. How it comes
Uh,
across to other people, how good it is, whatever is not your business.
as Adina Menzel would skrelt, let it go.
Skrelt.
Yeah, scream belt.
That's right. Let it go. So Emily and I will be practicing that over here. We will be stumbling through it. I have to remind myself this crap on the daily, but it's worth it. So this whole idea, like we're special, I think is a very individualistic American idea of
Mm,
like, we celebrate the individual and what the individual thinks. We're all our own main characters. Whereas in other countries, they have more of a collectivistic thinking where they're thinking about how they fit into the whole. And I feel like I'm not special is a move, maybe not towards complete collectivism, but it's trying to find a happy medium between those two things.
mm,
It's taking ourselves out of, we are not the end product, we are not the light bulb, we are part of the conduit. It's
mm-hmm,
allowing ourselves to be part of the people.
mm-hmm,
And that's a very human place to be, you know?
mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
because what if one of the pieces of that circuit decides that if it can't be the light bulb, that it can't do anything, and then we don't have that piece.
right. And then that signal, that spark of brilliance or inspiration stops right there
Mm-hmm.
and has to go a different way.
We can't all be the light bulb all the time.
Yeah? And that's okay. Even though it feels really good when you are the light bulb.
Look what all of this did for me.
Uh-huh. Well, Emily, thanks for the
Carrie,
conversation and for humoring me on this kind of nuanced topic.
I like it. I like it a lot. I want to see your fart emojis.
Yeah.
I'm becoming obsessed with this idea. So
I know. Our
I
little
just like
secret
it.
club messages. Ooh. We have had people reach out and ask how they can help this podcast. And one of the best ways that you can help is to go on to Apple Podcasts and give us a 5-star rating. It helps us and it just connects us. And so we thank you in advance.
Yes. And if you're not on Apple Podcasts, you can go to YouTube and follow or subscribe. That's what the kids are saying. That's literally what the button says. You can go on YouTube and subscribe.
All right, dear listener, until next week, just go live your unspecial life out in the world making fertilizer for your art.
Yeah. Honestly, dear listener.
Woo!